Here on the screen you can see a logo that was given to me by a customer of mine. What they wanted to do was they wanted to laser engrave this logo onto a metal plate, black brass coated steel. Now they wanted me to optimize this logo so that it would look good laser engraved on this metal. The way it is right now isn't going to work. The problem is that our lasers typically will convert anything that's in color into gray, into shades of gray. The problem is that this logo, and most logos for that matter, look better when they're in black and white. Now if you want to see what I'm talking about, if I select this logo and I convert it to grayscale, you can see that this is basically how the logo is going to laser. Again, I've got a fairly dark background here along with a fairly dark shade of gray. What's going to happen is that these typically, once I laser them, they're going to look fairly similar because this is so close to black now. It's just going to blend in with the background. This is probably going to be better if I was to make the maple leaf white and the background black. Again, same thing's going on here. I've got black on a darker gray, and a lot of this is just going to be one solid piece of black, as opposed to a nice distinguished WFD and a nice lighter background. Woodstock is going to basically blend right into the background here. So what I want to do, I want to go back out. I'm going to undo this, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break this logo apart, and I can do this because if you look in the object manager, you can see that this is just a series of objects, vectored objects. So I can take this and I can ungroup it, and once I ungroup it, now I can select parts of this logo and change into whatever colors I want. So for example, I can take this logo right here and I can make it white, and I can take the maple leaf and make it black. So again, you can see that now I have a logo that looks a little bit better than what it looked before. I can take this logo here. Notice how it's got an outline here. I'm going to make that outline black, or I could just get rid of the outline, but let's make it black. Just remember, when we do this, we've got to do the same thing to all the other areas. So let's select out this object here, black, this object, white middle, black outline, white middle, black outline, and you can see very quickly you can have a fairly good looking logo that's now going to have a good distinct contrast between the black and the white. Now as far as the woodstock goes here, I can just drag select here, and that's going to select just this gold part. Now again, I could do a find and replace, but the problem is there's some other areas I don't want to change them to the colors that I want to change them to. So I'm just going to, it's quicker just to do it this way. So again, if you want to make sure you've got what you need, you can just delete it and then go Control Z, and the logo comes back. So if we select this, we can now make it black. Now if I zoom in on this, notice here I've got a couple of red lines here, and they're vector lines. So again, I want them to be the same size. So if I hold the Shift key down, I can select multiple instances of an object. And notice here, you can tell there's two nodes are selected, which means I've got these two lines. Now these lines, I want to be a little bit thicker. So let's go to that thickness. And then if I right click on here, I've got a thicker object. I think I'm going to make this just a little bit thinner. So let's make it 0.20, and I got a little bit thinner there. Now if we zoom back out again, let's take the established in 1881, we'll do the same thing to it. Left click. Now we've got our little lines here all the way around. If I delete those, notice how they're all one basic design. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make those thicker too. So let's select the 0.028 again, and let's change that to let's make it black. And we could probably thicken that up a little bit more. Maybe a bit more. Again, you can use the presets or you can type in your own value. So that's looking pretty good right there right now. Now, the question really becomes, in the center here, what am I going to do? Well, I'm thinking this red's got to be probably black. And again, you can see here, the red is black, or the fill is red. So let's just left click here. And then let's make the outline, let's make it, we make it black, it goes there. If we make it white, it goes like that. I think I'm going to leave that at like it is. Now I just need to select the inside, make them white. And there's my W. And I'm going to make my outline here. Again, it is a bit of a shade of gray. Let's delete that just so we can see where it is. Control Z. So that's really there. So let's make that, I like to make that a solid black. And that fill should be black, and then a solid black. And I'm thinking inside that gray there, let's make sure, see again, that's another gray, so let's make that, let's actually make that white. Actually, let's go back to black. Should go white. Thinking it should be like that. Yeah, let's make it a bit thinner. That's probably a better idea. There we go. Let's just go a little bit thicker. That should be good there. So now I knew just change this gray here to white. So let's find the gray, which I think is going to be down here. Again, there's my gray right there. So let's make that white, black. And there we go. We've got a pretty good rendition. I'm going to just make this white line here just a little bit wider. That's looking pretty good there now. So again, if I zoom back out again, here's my logo. Looks like it's done up pretty good. Let's zoom back in on it so we can see it. So we're looking pretty good there. Now again, maybe just make that line a little bit wider. I think that logo looks a little bit more closer to the original logo. So if we zoom back out again, and let's just bring in the other logo again. Just import it in. There it is. A little rectangle here. So there's my logo, and it's looking pretty good there now. So you can see that very quickly, as long as the logo is vectored, I can actually change the logo to a nice black and white image so that we can laser